I just want to tell the people who told me to get Pedialyte, I hate you all. You're evil. I don't appreciate it. When someone's as sick as I am tasting something that literally tastes like motor oil and what a gym sock would taste like filtered through whatever this stuff is. This is like evil Hawaiian Punch. It doesn't taste like Hawaiian Punch, but it looks like Hawaiian Punch. So when you take a sip, you think you're getting Hawaiian Punch, and instead you're getting a punch in the gut because it's so terribly horrible. Thank you for having Olivia buy something else besides Gatorade. Even though Gatorade is full of sugar, at least it's what plants craves. Brondo, folks, if it was available, you should have got it for me. Pedialyte sucks. You're tired of being so confused. You feel like your mouth dumped under lies on the evening news. Oh, yeah, here's Kristen out. You should have gotten Liquid 4, Liquid 6. And you know what? We had some yokel sit here and tell me, Matt, get a cucumber and get cayenne pepper and blend it. You know, you people and your freaking just psychotic freaking stuff. I'm like, are you trying to kill me? A cucumber with cayenne pepper blended. Wow. That sounds delicious. Hot tea, chicken broth. Now that's something I can get behind. But I need to hydrate. You can't hydrate when you have salt. Electrolytes are important, but you don't want to do it too much. I know a little bit about this, folks. I slept at a Holiday Inn Express. Powerade is better. Where were all you people when you were recommending Pedialyte? Yeah, but I don't need a package of like orange Theraflu. I need hydration, folks. Hydration. The city sewage plant called me and said, you have to slow down. We can't keep up with your house. That's how bad it was. Ask Liv. She knows.
It was rough.
Yours, Y-O-U apostrophe R, Kristen. Jeez. Look at Elizabeth. I would never recommend Pedialyte. Thank you. Thank you. Liv, how much was this stuff?
$5.
Wait, how many did you buy?
2.
We need to go and get something else. I agree. I think liquid. What is Liquid 6? What is? Who knows what Liquid 6 is?
Never heard of it.
Is it like SEAL Team 6? It's made out of real seals. Liquid 6. When the operator in you can no longer operate, drink Liquid 6. What does it have in it? Is it a lot of sugar? Oh, I'll look at it. Liv, let's do fact check on Liquid 6, will you?
Right.
Liquid Death?
Liquid Death. Is that what you just said?
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever seen it?
Now people are saying Liquid 1.5.
IV.
What?
Liquid IV.
Oh, Liquid IV. Well, listen, folks, IV is very different than doing Roman numeral 6. Thank you for putting in the proper punctuation upon the Roman numerals, so I wouldn't think Liquid IV. I can't go get a Liquid IV. That costs money. I'm not going to a hospital. I can't. And trust me, I've been there. And it's great, but I'm not going to spend $5,000 to go get an IV and a couple of aspirin. It's just not going to happen. Wouldn't it be 6 be IV? Well, yeah. Well, 6 would be V1. Of course it would be. I'm tired. You know what? Fuck this show. I'm not doing it tonight. Thanks for making fun of my dyslexia, too. Pricks. Shut up, Yenny.
Hey, Hogswins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast.
What does it say, Liv?
The DUM Show.
I'm not looking it up, man.
Well, you can't look it up. It's Liquid IV.
.com. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, aren't all IVs liquid?
Yeah.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree. We can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
You don't want to drink.
Kristen sent a link. It's an actual something you put
liquid
in your water or
liquid
something.
IV. So it is a product. I thought.
Yeah, it's a product.
Okay, so let's find out what it is. I'm not moving until I find out.
Liquid. I don't know if they have it.
You're
at our
blurry
local
as shit.
store.
Where's our family?
Hayden's downstairs. I can get her.
Do you need to? Because we can't. That's more important than anything right now. Yeah, you're super blurry, Liv. No Rumble. What do you mean? Oh shit.
Yeah, Rumble's having issues. You were talking about electrolytes, and I hadn't gotten there yet.
Brondo. It's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave.
I would have sworn I added Rumble. Hold on. Hayden? Yeah. You gonna focus mom in? Yeah. Thanks, punk. What a stud. All right, I'll find out what's going on. Holy, just God bless America.
Oh my God. It's ionizing.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you put fake light across the... No. Tap your mom's face and then plunge. Oh, holy shit, Hayden, no. No. Hayden, you're so wrong. Okay, Hayden, turn off the camera, turn it back on. All right, check, not you, Liv. You stay focused on getting in focus. Kevin, check Rumble, please. Something's wrong. Hold on. She's okay. It's my eyes. My eyes, obviously. Wow, they're really bad. They're getting.
We need to go to the eye doctor.
When she thwacked you last time, she must have really knocked something loose.
What, Hayden?
It's just what happens when you turn 50.
Yeah, Hayden. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you ever.
I'm really
Hayden with
white.
the zinger.
You're not white. What do you mean?
Really pale looking.
You're not. Okay. You know what? Why do we even come on? Why didn't I just go ahead and stay home today? Here, I think this is why. There you go, Liv. You got some color now. That better?
Thanks.
Yeah, you look much better. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Rumble's up. Great.
Thank you.
Matt, sorry but focus sounded a little out. What? What?
I don't know.
Well, I need to know what that means. Is the sound wrong? Is that what's going on now?
I think they were talking about focus on my camera, maybe.
Listen, I appreciate all of your advice on how to get the flu, but do you guys understand how difficult it is to find these illustrious commodities that you expect me to have laying around the house? Honey, ginger, lemon, maple syrup. The whole point of me being sick is that I don't want to go to the store, and Olivia doesn't care about me. She hardly,
What you want to do, Matt, is get some cumin and blend it in with some mayonnaise
and some saffron,
and then throw in a cucumber. Right? Yeah,
with some saffron.
And don't forget a zucchini.
Listen, you guys are kind of like the people that gave us advice when we had kids. We didn't listen to those people. I'm done listening to y'all. My God, you're fucking blurry.
Again?
It's got to be me. I don't know what's up. My eyes are screwed. I mean, I've been completely sick. But
Do I look blurry, Leeroy?
No, you look clean. My eyesight got really bad from being
very
sick.
little bit. You do.
Very little bit.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
looks-
I am not focused 100%.
You need to get Hayden.
McKenna.
Because when I put the glasses on, you're still not as clear as Leeroy and I.
Hayden.
Come on, Hayden. She made a 50 joke, didn't she? What an ass.
She did.
Nobody likes her.
She called you old.
She did call me old. Hayden,
Yes, I am.
Hayden, she's blurry. Just
She was
get
like, "Okay, boomer."
Get your mom in focus. She carried you in her womb for 9 months. The least you can do is make sure she's focused. Leeroy, how do you think of that? What do you think of that?
It's getting there.
I need to see.
It's not. Yeah, it's not as crisp as it normally is, though. Straight up.
Okay, well, we're gonna sit here and figure this out. Hold on. I knew I shouldn't have come on today. Okay, well, we're gonna sit here and figure this out. Hold on. Oh, it's really on time. She looks fine. She looks good. She looks good. It's just my eyes. It's not her. Okay, we're going to call it good. I'm just not going to look at you, Liv.
Yeah, right.
Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show.
I'm wearing my grandma sweater.
You're wearing the grandma sweater.
Do I still look blurry, people? Because people are now saying I look blurry.
Wipe
it's
the
like any
camera
other
lens.
imagery.
Should I ground some cucumber and some cayenne pepper and rub it on the lens, folks? Is that what we're going to tell me now? Seriously, is she?
All right, mods. The normal mods. Tell.
The real people. See, you hear her? She's like
Real people.
I didn't say real people.
the real people. It's what she said. The people who I care about. The better. Okay, so are we good now? Can we start the show? While I drink my nasty ass Pedialyte. Oh God, this shit tastes like dirt.
Okay, I look good. It's Roxanne's birthday today. She's 72.
Happy birthday.
72.
Happy birthday.
You don't have to
Fellow
care,
March
red
baby.
light. You walk the streets for money. You don't even care if it's wrong or if it's right. Roxanne.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
The sad thing is like that's like a computer generated happy birthday, and it sounds better than 99% of the rap out there. To start the show already, I'll start the damn show whenever I will fucking please. How about that?
Wonders. We'll say that.
I'll just pull the plug on this whole. I'll burn this thing to the ground.
I think I pulled a muscle. While
King
sleeping
Kong
last
ain't
night.
got nothing on
That's how
me.
you know you're old, when you pull a muscle when you're sleeping. It's in my
Yeah,
back.
because nothing was happening between you and I for sure. That wouldn't have been possible.
No.
That would have been. You would have been in some really sick shit.
Gross. I just know every time I heard you gag, I'm like, don't. I'm getting up. I'm getting up. Just make it to the toilet, please.
I did. I was a rock star.
Oh, you were great.
15 times throwing up, and I hit the toilet every time.
Yep.
Not a drop got on the floor. I was amazing. Projectile vomiting. I had a lot of practice in the military and college, so I'm pretty damn good at it. I give myself at least a 9.5. Yeah, I'll start the show when I want to. If I just want to sit here and talk about this the whole time, I will. That's because that's the great thing. It says don't unfriend me. And essentially I am don't unfriend me. So there it is.
Happy birthday, Sean. And
Wait.
congratulations.
Sean has a birthday?
Sean Casper. It was his 57th
Happy birthday
yesterday.
to you.
Okay, just imagine you got the same
And-
exact song that she did, Sean.
16th year sober. So that's pretty
Wow,
awesome.
that's the birthday that's important right
That's
there.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I watched a great movie while I was dying.
Is that what it's called? While I was dying.
Dude, seriously, that was it was bad. I'm still feel horrible. Like I just don't have a sense of humor tonight. So you're all gonna have to suck it up. So Grumpy Matt is in the house. I watched The Flight with Denzel Washington. You see it? Oh yeah,
Flight.
Tears.
Yeah.
Flight
Flight was awesome.
That movie.
Flew that shit.
If you want to understand, if you want to, in a 5G negative dive, if you want to know what addiction is like, a lot of people say like leaving Las Vegas. No, that's just stupid. Flight is pretty accurate to what a highly functional alcoholic and drug addict are. And it comes to the point, by the way, Hayden, do you have a bike?
Yeah.
Do you want to go run down to the store and get Daddy some Gatorade instead of Pedialyte? Do you want to drive the car?
No.
Yes.
No.
You can drive the car down the
No.
store.
No.
Okay.
No. No.
No, I take the car over a bike
No.
because I'm not getting ready to
No.
go drive.
You
my
won't.
bike.
You won't. Can you take your bike? It's like a 3-minute drive with your bike.
No, it's like 10 minutes.
Oh God forbid that your father, who
Yeah,
has done
but-
things for you your whole life,
No,
is
but
needing
the
some
thing is,
Gatorade.
then- No, wash my hair and then like
Oh,
throw it
for
up
love
and-
of
Dude,
God,
put
you're
a baseball
buying.
cap on.
And that's gonna take like an
Hayden,
hour.
are you seriously telling me
Hayden,
no?
your father has spent the last 4 days pissing out his ass.
My
Get on your bike.
Yeah. Listen, come here. Uncle
Go
Leroy wants
down
to say
there.
Hold on, Leroy.
I look like crap.
No, Uncle Leroy wants to say something to you. Hold on. We might get some feedback. Hold on. Here, get over here. You don't have to get on camera.
Okay.
Just basically, he says your dad has spent the last 4 days pissing out of his ass. You need to get your ass on the bike and go to the store.
Yeah.
Go get your backpack. You're going to the store. Please.
Okay.
You can't do that for me?
Okay.
But I gotta like get ready and stuff.
Do you want me to just do it?
No.
No, because this is the way. Dad needs something. God forbid. She was so sweet today. She made me chicken nunu soup with no crackers, by the way, because you ate them all. You jerk.
That was your sick son.
All right, so let's get to it. Anyway, get out of here. Leave me alone. Thanks a lot for helping me out. Appreciate it. I'm going to be dead one of these days. And you're like, God, I wish I had my daddy.
It's gonna be.
Wish I had my dad. Maybe if I would have bought him some Gatorade when he was dehydrated, then it wouldn't have destroyed his prostate.
I only shared my crackers.
Only shared crackers.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Love
Okay,
to
so here's-
share my crackers now.
So here's what we're doing. Hey, Liv,
Yeah.
let's go now.
There.
No, you're not going to help me. Leave.
Bring my phone back.
I will.
Why does she get your phone?
She needs
I need
pictures
to look
from
a photo.
Moana.
Hey, and
or
your hair looks
something.
like shit.
Thank you.
She needs, when she played Moana or something, she needs pictures or something. So
See, Dad knows how to play. That'll carry in her craw. She's going to go downstairs. She's going to look in the mirror for like 10 minutes. My hair doesn't look like shit. And she's going to come
Now,
back
if
and
we
her,
could go
Dad, why
back-
did you say that about my hair? Why'd you call me old?
We could go back just for 2 minutes on that movie Flight.
I
I don't
really
know if
wanna go
anybody
back on that.
realized it. I don't know if anybody realized it, but if you really start to kind of examine the characters in that movie, John Goodman, who plays the guy's dealer, is constantly like feeding the guy. Oh, you're going to be all right. Here, have a line of blow. Here's another set of pills. Here's this. Here's that. And it's just constantly keeping the guy like it's always in his face. You always have that. You'll always have the dealers out there who want to get you hooked.
It's just interesting. I go back to my career addicted to medicine and some of the things that I accomplished, the very best things I ever accomplished in life were when I was high.
Yeah.
And but also the worst things that I lost were when I was high. And I look at the Navy, and after I hurt myself, I did a lot of work for the government, and I was medicated, and medication back then was different. As long as you showed up and you did your job and you were shit hot, they didn't care. But I was taking, a large amount of opiates while I was working for the government. But man, I'll tell you, I did some of the best work in intelligence that I've ever done in my life when I was high. I could stay up for hours. I could see things that other people couldn't see. I was hypersensitive to memory and recalling things on a whim. I was sharp as a tack. And highly functional addiction is a real thing. And then when I was at Apple, I worked for the most prestigious retail company in the world. And we achieved global and national success. We had the #1 customer service store in the world. That beats China and New York and Singapore and Kuala Lumpur and all the Turkey. My God, San Francisco.
I'll say this, and we were just talking about this right before the show started. Just a few days ago,
the flu made me angry and disrespectful. What the hell?
Who said that?
What?
What?
What a horrible thing to say. What are you talking about?
Who was that?
I don't know. Linda? Linda says I'm angry and disrespectful. Did you even hear my child? Do you understand the relationship that we have? I'm sorry. You don't know. You don't understand my family. You need to watch some more. A lot. I'm not angry and disrespectful. I don't feel well, and we're messing around a little bit. So if that bothers you, maybe check out for tonight. Come back on Monday or something. Maybe I'll be better. Maybe I won't be so disrespectful and angry. Go ahead, Leroy. I haven't interrupted Leroy but once tonight, and that's because you said what you said. I was actually doing really well. Go ahead, Leroy.
Oh, you're good. Just a few days ago, I was down at the VA. Matt and I were talking about this right before the show started, and it reminded me that every time you go to the VA or you go to the hospital for that matter, anytime you go there for any reason, they're not necessarily interested in treating the actual cause. They just would rather, prescribe you something, right?
Band-Aid.
And get
Yeah.
you to kind of, yep, that's exactly it. They want to treat the symptoms mostly, not necessarily the cause.
Yeah. And, I was just, the reason I was watching Flight is it makes me really realize my inequities as a human being, and I love the ending because
where
it had where he admitted it couldn't go any other way. You knew he was a good man, but he was addicted to medicine and cocaine and everything else and drugs and alcohol and all of it. It's all the same thing. Sorry, I'm struggling. I'm rude and sensitive and absent-minded too. We can throw that in there. But it really helped me understand my own journey with it. And I look at all the lives around me that I've impacted, but I didn't start thinking about the medicine. I started thinking about when I was in school, and I started thinking through college and the Navy. And at some point you realize that it's not the alcohol or it's not the drugs. Maybe it's just you, that you have an addictive personality and your addiction is not medicine. It's destruction, that you destroy the things in your life. And that's what you're addicted to. And, and of course I've got the flu and 102-degree temperature, and that probably helped. I either could have dropped acid or got the flu to have these, what I consider transient thoughts that are not good thoughts, but help you get to a path of, wow, maybe you need to look at who you are as a person over the years. And it really woke me up. And it really kind of, that movie, the funny thing is there's another movie that I latched onto when I went through my first rehab with medicine. And that was the movie Just Friends. And I must have watched that movie 30 times for some reason.
You also watched Knight's Tale too.
Yeah, but that had nothing. That was just because it was Knight's Tale. But there's also music that I latched onto, and these nights of going through addiction are the worst. The worst. I can't even, like, if you asked me, would I want to sever a limb or go through addiction again? I would most assuredly sever a limb. To go through the recovery from opioids or sever a limb, I would take a limb.
I get that.
I can say that with no equivocation. People are like, you're crazy. Why would you take off a hand or an arm? Because you lose a piece of yourself through it. And it is torment, and it is constant pain. And it's not a day. It's not a month. It's still to this day, I go through what's best considered analgesic rebound. And very similar to people who have, acid flashbacks because they crack the base of their spine or their neck and it releases, where a lot of the psychotropic drugs in LSD adhere to your spine. That's why you really can't pick up LSD unless it's from the hair follicles or the spine. Those two places it resides. What was that?
I have no idea.
Anyway, so the reason why I brought that up is because when you go through the withdrawal symptoms from addiction, it's there is no reason for people to jump. And I hate to say it, but if you asked me if I ever got hooked again, would I go through that? No, I would rather take the Heath Ledger cocktail and just not wake up one morning. And that's the only reason I don't start again, is because I know if I do, I will not live through it. And I think the reason I bring it up is in that movie, we all have our demons. We all have the things that are
everyone's got a vice
that we're carrying around. And the longer you push them away from acceptance and realize what you have, your inequities, your struggles, your weaknesses, you'll never face them. So, it was just, I just don't think I haven't even watched a movie that covered addiction since I quit 7-8 years ago. And this was the first one. And it really was something that just was shocking to me. It was amazing. The journey of going through that again and just watching him self-destruct and look at the amazing potential he had as the only guy probably on the planet who could have landed that plane the way he did, which was bullshit and it never would have happened because you can't invert a 747 or a 727 or a DC-10 because not like that, not under those conditions. It's certainly not flying at 200 feet, but whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is if you look at Sully, who landed the plane in the Hudson River, there were nests of pilots, 12 to 15, who turned and went to another airport and made it and didn't have to land the plane in the Hudson. And Tom Hanks's character in the movie just kind of looks, and I'm switching to the movie Sully, is, he kind of looks at them and says, yes, and each one of those pilots who were able to do it did not have the unknown factor of not knowing what was going to happen. Every one of them knew a bird strike was going to happen. They both knew that they were going to lose both engines at, a few thousand feet.
Yeah.
And they knew what to do with no hesitation and plotted out the course because that's what you told them to do. And they knew the solution. The only variable was the unknown. So the whole reason I bring up that movie and Sully and everything else is because they both are symbiotic in their own right. Is that when you're facing addiction or facing demons or, facing an eating disorder or just maybe you're just a jerk and don't love your family or whatever it is, the unknown is why you do those things. And the interesting thing is you do know, and you're the only one that does.
It's interesting.
And people need to face that stuff.
People in the military, every now and then you'll come across the occasional the person who still smokes, right? For example, and they want to quit most of the time, but they just can't. Or you'll meet the occasional person who just cannot go without a drink. I can go for days. But it's interesting because once you have at least one vice where it's just a temporary feel-good fix that maybe only lasts for a couple of hours, or even just a few minutes, it's something that you fall into this pattern of repetition, right? Well, there's that one. Let's go again. And after a while of that repetition, soon, maybe one cigarette or two cigarettes or a glass of bourbon or whatever the next pill is, that one's not, all of a sudden it's not enough now. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's a very dangerous thing to fall into. That's what, it's the classic gateway drug kind of thing is they're all legal, right? Mostly. Right. And soon if you've got that itch, if you've got that, addictive personality that Matt is talking about, you really have to watch that. If you have that, then you could very easily fall into, all of a sudden alcohol isn't enough anymore. Maybe marijuana isn't enough anymore. And next thing you know, you're in a very, very bad spot. Folks, if that's you, please, for the love of God, reach out to someone. Reach out to someone who can help. Get a hold of, Alcoholics Anonymous or any of the corresponding groups that can help. Please do that.
Yeah, Veteran Crisis Line is also, it's not just mental awareness. They cover all sorts of crisis, people going through disease and drug abuse and everything else. They need to identify what it is first. My point is that the unknown is not unknown to you. Everything in life, whether you go across the street, whether you're going to be hit by a car, you don't know that. Or you want to go ahead and invest in stock, you don't know what can happen. You don't know if it's going to go up or go down. If you're going to take a flight and it's going to go and take a nosedive, you don't know that. But you do know how you will react in certain situations. And you do know what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. And most importantly, you know the things that are stopping you and holding you back from happiness. And those are the things we most ignore. That's my point, is for a person and a human being that most of their interactions in life are things that they can't possibly know about or can predict them happening. You know enough about you, yet we don't face those things or address those things. And it's just, that's probably the biggest thing I've had. And that's called a moment of clarity when alcoholism. People who have cancer will show rebounds and show positive metrics right before they die. And people think they're getting better. And the doctors are like, no, you're not. You're not going to come out of this. And they're like, no, I am. I'm eating and I'm running. I've got energy. And it's like, that's a typical thing. So it's just something to think about. It's not dreary. It's not dark. It's that we have the power to know the things we don't know, but you do know how you are, and you do know your limitations. You do know what's holding you back. And I think if we spent more time focused on our inner struggles, the outside struggles that we have no control of would probably lessen. That's my whole point of the shtick. As far as me being rude to my daughter, let me.
I'm already taking care of that one.
Please, you don't understand anything about me. My daughter, I tell her she's beautiful every 5 minutes. I have stood upon the mountains and roared with the thunderous clap of a god to defend her beauty and her intelligence, and she knows that about me. But as she can go ahead and walk by and say, hey, Dad, you look like shit this morning, I can go ahead and tell her that her hair looks like shit because
She hasn't brushed it today.
And it's not true anyway.
Well, Linda, we only had kids, so we had indentured servants. I didn't have to pay people to do, clean the house and stuff like that.
Is that what Linda said?
No, that's what I said to Linda.
What did Linda say to make you?
I'm just replying to that thread.
What happened? What
no, it's the comment she made about I would never talk to my children, my daughter, that way.
Well,
oh my God, you should hear the way I talk to my kids.
Also, my favorite child is not my children. It's my bearded dragon. So, I love my bearded dragon more than I love my own children. So.
I think it's easy to judge people based upon your own standards and your own morals of here's what I'll say is you very well may never talk to your child that way. And I promise you there are things that my child will say to me that your children will never say to you. And that's for the good and the bad. Is that, to be honest, there are times we're too honest in our family. And we joke around to a point where people may not understand. But the interesting thing, Linda, is that I bet if I asked your kids if they loved you, they would say, absolutely. And I bet if you asked my children if they love me, they would say, absolutely. Shut up, Hayden. So that's...
She still has my phone.
God
knows what she's doing with it.
What?
She's got my phone and she's trying to get the pictures off.
Anyway, so, well, that was stupid to let her in the... Now, that's child abuse. You better get her out of there. Some photos in there she can't see. No. But that's the thing is I used to get upset at that when people would judge me as a parent. I don't judge parents. It's a hard enough job. But my daughter has a very good sense of humor, and
both our kids do.
You want to know something? Is that my daughter went through probably the largest stint of bullying that a kid could go through. And most kids would get broken by it. Not my kid, because I prepared her for it. And the funny thing is the one thing I tried so hard to prepare her for, she became the bully. And I prepared her for it. And I told her how horrible it felt. So instead of being victimized, she just became the bully. No matter what we do as parents, our kids will do what they do, and they are who they are. And once you get to a certain age, their neurons are set. They are who they're going to be. And I have to be proud because now when people pick on my daughter or they pick on other kids, she's the one that stands up. But the thing is that you've got to have a little hate to have some love.
Yeah.
You got to have good to have the bad. And who am I to say that I can't joke with her in a way that isn't 100% loving and caring, but maybe just a little brutal honesty through humor? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. But here's the cool thing, Linda, is you don't know me, and you don't know the way my daughter looks at me and the way I look at her. And once again, I just told you, I just said the whole thing you missed. Why are we so worried about the things we don't know when we're actually can be focused on the things we do? And if you're a great parent and your kids love you, then you're blessed, and you should be focused on that, not worried about me, because you don't know anything about me or my family or my kids. So you're focused on the wrong things. And I can say that because I just explained it for 20 minutes and you completely missed the fucking point. So
I will say this as a dad of a 19-year-old and of a 24-year-old. The one thing that, and everyone has their different parenting philosophies. There's, it's not like kids come with a damn rule book or a guidebook or anything like that. There's no set of instructions. But the one thing that I always did was to make sure that I always treated them with as much love and respect as I can. But at the same time, you want to prepare them for the outside world for when those stray comments do come in. Oh, you look fat, or your hair looks like shit today, right? Just like what Matt was saying. You should hear the way I talk to my kids sometimes. And it's gotten to the point now where I can say stuff that's way worse than that, and they know that it's a joke. But they also know that, like, if I say that, I expect a comment back. I absolutely am expecting an old person or a hair comment or, something along those lines. I want that back because I want that kid to be prepared so that when it happens out in the regular world, he knows how to respond.
Yeah, we
And
just
it can
don't.
be
We don't.
either serious. It can be either serious or a joke. But that's my point. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, don't be sorry. It's just the way it is. We just.
We are a very sarcastic family.
Yeah.
It's very
Hell yeah.
rare that we're actually serious. I would say 90% of the time we're sarcastic. It's who we are, and we are cool with that.
Leeroy, you look younger than Matt. Whatever. Please.
She's coming
Matt's
back.
been sick for 5 days. The guy who's borderline like getting out of the hospital.
Leeroy does. Why does that matter?
Black.
So everyone's pissed off that I made fun of your hair and they think that I've ruined you forever. And
Oh yeah, I'm so traumatized. I'm gonna need therapy. So sad.
you asked
There
for
you
it.
go.
There you
I'm
go.
heartbroken. How could you?
I don't know.
I'll never talk to you again. I'm leaving.
That was the point.
Running away.
That was the point. Start now.
Die.
She just said die. Oh man.
Oh, the joys of having a daughter.
She's amazing.
Linda.
She's my
Do you understand now? Do you see our family dynamic? Really?
she's my hero. What the fuck do you mean I look older than Leeroy? I am older than Leeroy.
Oh
No, I'm
my
not.
gosh.
I'm barely.
Oh,
Where are you
he's
at?
gonna have the new nickname Gatorade.
Where are you at now? You 52?
Dude, I'll be 54 this year.
Oh, you don't look 54. For your age, yeah. When I shave, like, we were talking about our baby faces this morning or before the show, is that Leeroy and I, we've got the chubby cheek thing going on. So when we shave, we look like kids. Listen, here's the thing, folks. Once again, there are going to be people who look younger than me. There's going to be people older, and I don't care. See, that's the cool thing is it ain't no big thing. Hayden is hilarious. If you don't know my daughter, she would come on here and probably be like, why are you disrespecting my parents? What you're saying is worse than what they said to me. Because you're implying that my mom and dad and I don't have a good relationship. But I don't need to speak for my daughter because she has no problem doing it herself.
Oh no, she speaks her mind.
She's got no problem telling people to go fudge off. All right, let's get to it. We got a show to do. Good to have everybody here. All right, so a lot of people have asked, "Hey, Matt, what's going on in Russia?" So I'm fog of war, 24-hour rule is in full effect. Okay, I'm writing an article on it now. I will not be done till tomorrow morning because there are multiple stories on this front, and it's not just that a group of people came in and shot up a concert hall outside of Moscow, which is very, very important to the story, but there's also a lot of other things. For instance, ISIS has claimed responsibility for this hit, which is interesting to me because ISIS usually doesn't do this like this. They're not like Al-Qaeda. They're not like the Muslim Brotherhood. They're not like the PLO. Those are smaller type groups, and the unknown creates dissension and more fear. ISIS taking credit for this very quickly within an hour of the event, to me, that's weird. So I'm going to hold on that, okay? The second thing is there was U.S. intelligence reports that I read 2 weeks ago where came out of U.S. intel and over flash traffic that the United States alphabet agencies, in particular ones that I won't mention, put out a warning to Interpol and to Russia Moscow that there was a very nondescriptive possibility of an attack with a group of people, and the only specifics were that it was a concert gathering or a large venue. That was really about as specific as they got. And when you're dealing with something the size of Russia, you're talking hundreds of events a day would fall into that, whether it's chamber music or whether it's a local rodeo. Do they have Bakharu in Russia? It doesn't matter. But the point is, whatever that would be, those gatherings, that intel report came out. So to me, that plays a different situation to me than the normal. And then, of course, Russia's first reaction was to blame Ukraine. And then Ukraine went ahead and said no. Now, I want you to think back to some other stories that took place where Ukraine has said no. And you can take a look at the drone strike that hit the Kremlin. And that was Ukrainian forces. And there's some other things that haven't been disclosed that have taken place that didn't make the national news where Ukraine's been involved. You can take a look at the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and now all signs point, all signs point to Nord Stream having Ukrainian involvement with possibly a major political power involved with assisting that process, predominantly U.S. or British forces, more than likely U.S., but inadvertently helping, where instead of using active duty special forces or operators, you're using retired groups that have the ability to train amateur type divers and submariners to do, or aquatic or nautic submariners, not people who actually go down into a sub, but use portable drones and things to train how to use these explosive devices and then do it. So once again, until you stop and just wait, you're not going to find out everything. But this one's really complex, and I want to get it right. I will not be showing any of the shootings. It was horrific. These guys came in with Kalashnikovs. They came in with bags. They each must have had 50 mags on them, and they've used them all. The last I heard, it was something like 40 dead, hundreds injured. I'm sure it's going to go up. I saw them hit at least 20 to 30 people on the videos that I saw. It's going to go up. And it's, if I'm not mistaken, Spetsnaz commandos came out, and military special forces and QRT type teams were sent upon this area. The concert hall looks to be a full loss. The fire was just absolutely devastating to a point where I don't know what they did with the incendiary devices. It baffles me how quickly they got a fire like this to spread. You can see it is completely engulfed. This is a massive center. This is not small.
Did some people die from smoke inhalation or anything like
It's
that?
too soon to tell, but you can see this is a very, I mean, if they came in on the entrance floor, which is where I saw the shooters come in, and now you have what appears to be the top of the building, incendiary devices, and you can do that with several type of canisters to set these fires, these phosphorus type canisters that you can go into, but you have to have a consumable source to ignite all of that stuff, and an accelerant of some sort. So I the conspiracy theorists out there are saying that it's Russia and they're doing this for sympathy. I don't believe that's the case. Russia has no problem killing its own citizens. Russia is probably one of the most opposed nations on. Yeah, they hate terrorists, especially Putin, and has killed a plethora of them. So go ahead, Leeroy.
What I was going to say was, I'm 99% sure it's available on YouTube, but I saw a special, and it's been 10 years, and it said the name of the show was called Putin's Way or something along those lines, and it documented how he bombed his own people in Chechnya. At the time, Chechnya was part of Russian territory, and they had every bit of forensic evidence, physical evidence that tied the explosions that popped off there to actual Russian troops. And, at the time he had claimed that it was outside terrorists and, this and that. And, that's the kind of thing you have to be careful of. And with all of this talk about, about terrorism and about attacks, it's funny. I was listening to the radio this morning and they had acknowledged that something like 514 people known on various watch lists, on various 3-letter agency watch lists, had been arrested going across our southern border. Again, that's 514, some of them on the terrorist watch list, right? And so you start to think to yourself, all right, well, that's the ones that they know about. How many got through that they don't know about?
Right. We're going to
And
go
so
into
when
that
you're
today.
Okay, then I'll shut up then.
No. Keep going. I'm just letting you know we're going to go.
Well-
we're going to have a chance to talk about that.
Well, and so the idea is that because there's so many that we don't know about, and we're looking at the photos that Matt just had pulled up. I mean, there's the very real possibility that kind of thing could happen here. And it's terrifying, right? You don't ever want to hear that cells could be forming within the United States just because we have a weak border. But it could happen. And I'm not saying that because I read some report or anything like that. That's not where this is coming from. This is all just public information. This is bits and pieces that have been gathered, just through listening to the radio and watching the news. And it should be disconcerting, right? It should raise a little bit of an eyebrow to go, oh man, we need to be a little more cautious when we go out. Put your head on a swivel when you go shopping, stay out of large venues, that kind of thing. It's the things that Matt and I, we continually talk about. That's just the kind of thing that it should at least warrant some level of street preparedness, right? So,
Well, I'll just listen. There's people that are like, read my comments. Listen, to assume that Leeroy and I are not aware that it's Ramadan would be
silly.
So obviously, you know what we've done for a living. We understand, and that's why we're being very cautious of what we're saying and he's saying. And I don't have the access, and I'm not read in like Leeroy is, but it doesn't mean that I don't get my bits of information from people who are able to talk. And see, Leeroy and I can talk in a certain way where you guys have no idea what we're saying, but we know what the other is saying and how to cover each other. It's a second hand. It's just when somebody comes in the room who isn't read in, when somebody comes into the room who, if you have to dialogue,
It's like Fight Club, right?
Dialogue has
wink.
levels. Just tell them. Just go ahead. I can't explain.
You give everyone the first rule of Fight Club is, and then you give them the little wink, right? Well, you just know.
Yeah.
Either in the mannerisms or the way in which you say something, because you can tell when someone's being super cautious with their wording, right? It's because they've read something that they are privy to that they know nobody else is, right? And so that you can tell when people start dancing around the words intentionally because you're trying to make sure they don't overstep that bound.
Yeah.
They're trying to make sure that they don't let something out of the bag that they know they shouldn't have, because that would be a problem.
And there's also times where like there's levels of communication and overall speaking freely. The way that you get, like, say, a morning brief isn't the way you're going to disseminate that to your team on Gold or Blue Watch. Does that make sense? I'm not going to go into my team and be like, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to censor the need to knows that they are cleared to hear and not give them access to information that they aren't allowed to hear in order to fulfill the parameters of their job. The same thing. So it's just something we know how to do. So when you see us go, I'm choosing my words carefully, and you'll see us both look up, because not only are we, and we're accessing confines of our brain that are off limits to most people, you'll know that we're not on the creative side, that we're sitting here trying to go, okay, I can't.
Right.
You know what? I just can't say anything. So I still do that, even though I know that my clearance is expired. The oath that I made is not.
Right.
And that is an oath of
a
lifetime.
lifelong. Yep.
That's lifetime. So there's things that I know for a fact that I know that are still so sensitive and compartmentalized that I could be thrown in prison for discussing. I know that for a fact. And there's a lot of that. And I also know there's things that have actually been declassed because some idiot wrote a book on it, or somebody got too close to home in some, Jack Ryan novel. Okay. But I still can't talk about those things because my word doesn't change just because some asshat broke their word. Make sense? Okay. So, Ramadan is a peaceful holiday.
Maureen.
Heaven Hill. Is that what it is?
Heaven Hill. Good stuff.
I could use some of that. So Ramadan is a peaceful holiday. However, when it comes to terroristic style events, there is a rule. The more innocent people, the better. That's like the first rule. And two is doing it during religious times and sacred holidays or memorialized type times in history will not only increase your ability to have a successful mission, but also reward you in the afterlife to a higher level, if that makes sense. Essentially crazy. Okay. So Arab Spring, which is in December, is a time where you will see a lot of this. 9/11 during that time, you see this. And this is why during Ramadan, it's honestly one of the largest times for intel traffic to come around with bits of information, and message traffic increases a shit ton during this time. So it's also very hard. You would think, oh, well, that's great, right? More information. No, not necessarily, because the more leads you have that aren't real, you have to require personnel to chase those down. What do you mean we're off Rumble? So I don't think we're off Rumble. We're going to check for Rumble and see. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's get to the first topic. Titus. Now, I haven't heard of this guy.
No, we're good.
Sure.
Yeah, I thought so. I haven't heard of this Titus guy. You've heard of him, Leeroy? Obviously, you saw his video. Is he somebody you watch?
He used to be. So he had a TV show back in the early 2000s. And I want to say it would, oddly enough, I want to say it was on Fox, and it was a comedy. And he's a stand-up comedian. He's a very animated, very talented stand-up comedian. He's kind of like, I would compare him to like a very, very left-leaning, angry Bill Burr kind of character, right? And so he has a following. He has a big following. He has a platform. He is popular. Big into cars and things like that. Guys, again, he's very talented and he is very funny. But when he puts out, he has a podcast, and it's obvious from the podcast which way he leans, right? Which is to say that he believes the government knows how to run your life better than you do, right? And definitely an anti-right wing. When Matt pulls up the video, we can kind of go into it a little bit more.
It's interesting that he would use the name Titus or Titus, depending upon it. Well, no, depending upon where you're coming from. And if you're speaking about Roman history, he was Caesar, I believe, and before that was Vespasian, which was his dad, and that is most assuredly Titus. And then Titus there is a Greek, which is not spelled the same way. So I was trying to figure out where he was. It's interesting. Both of them usurped power through not tyrannical rule, but the vestige of might and strength can rule the weak, and that was both of kind of their. Not that he was a bad Caesar. The point is that that's the way most of the Romans were. It's interesting that a guy who hates Republicans and big government and can speak about that takes the name of Titus, which is interesting to me. I don't know.
That is interesting.
It's like taking the name of Arcadius.
I didn't know any of that.
Yeah. Arcadius or was Maximilian taken? Or
don't know.
All right. Well, we'll see if I like this guy.
Babe, can you turn off the fan?
Oh, he's
by chance?
terrible.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. Whether
But
he is,
you got to
or
like
not.
the real actual like.
Hold on, I
Taste
gotta.
of, oh, this is
Yeah.
so
It's
big.
a straight pouch, dog.
Okay. So let's see. We'll open this up. I'm really interested in watching this.
By the way, I'm going
Folks,
to wreck this guy.
just-
by the way, just
Oh,
Take a moment.
I completely. Oh, Joe, shut
Thanks
up.
for your support today. Not a single donation.
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. And I need to apologize for this one because I'm not feeling very comedic today. Welcome to Groundhog Day 2024, where we all seem to be living the same nightmare we had back in 2016.
Bing, bing.
Except this time, we know what an inept loser sweet potato Hitler actually is. Yet, I keep seeing the polls, and they keep saying he's neck and neck with Biden. Now, we all know that polls haven't been accurate since they were counted on deerskin with John Adams. However, how is it possible that Biden isn't beating this bankrupt, treasonous, pussy-grabbing, top-secret, document-stealing, 4-time indicted, 91 felony-having, type 2 diabetes sufferer by 90 points? Because there's nothing about him that is better than Biden. Nothing. He's less intelligent.
That doesn't bother me. Like, I don't mind I do that. I go off sometimes and I get angry. That doesn't bother me. I want him to speak. I want people to speak with passion. So this is my line, is that there's no reason that I'm not able to be passionate or angry and intellectual at the same time. You do have, it's not something that isn't possible. The question is, if you want to deliver in an angry tone, the best way I can describe it is Neil Tyson deGrasse. And he does a great job of getting very angry in debate. And then when he listens to other people, he becomes very magnanimous. So that doesn't, I'm just letting you know, it doesn't bother me yet. We'll see.
Person, woman, man. This is a tough hurricane. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
He's less experienced. He has less class.
Grab him by the pussy.
He has less grace. He can't ride a bike. He has zero success in running anything. He's failed constantly. And he has 100% success in ruining everything he touches. The man.
Okay, now I'm done. So I'm good. so it's amazing that, and I'm not going to add a lot of commentary. I'll just say, the moment you lie, you're done. I'm done with you. There's no more value in listening to you because you're taking a narrative and you're twisted. To say that Donald Trump hasn't been successful in his life is complete and utter fucking stupid. Stupid. Okay, this is Leeroy's segment, so I'm going to jump out and keep watching. But that right there is even his worst critic on all levels of what success is a derivative of. Donald Trump, no matter what, nobody can say that he isn't successful. That is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard, especially from some guy who looks like he got his set from a closed stripper club.
He reminds me of Kevin Bacon a little bit.
Yeah, well,
Really?
6 degrees
The
of
hair?
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, it's the way he
it the hair?
talks. It's the hair and the way he talks.
Was it the roles where he played a gay gimp in in Kennedy that made you feel this way?
Well, the only thing I could think of when I'm hearing him talk is the Footloose song is playing over and over and over in my head. It's just to block out his bullshit.
Footloose.
Well, I'll say this. Because of his origins in comedy, right? We even note there on the screen that he's got a rage meter, right?
Yeah,
and
I see
several comedians use that, right? Louis Black was probably the best at that ever.
Oh, always. He's fantastic.
So much so that they actually named a character after him in a Pixar movie. But then you also have people like Bill Burr, who, again, there's that rage thing that he does so well. And so I expect that. I expect some level of rage in order for him to gain some sort of attention from his audience. My problem is that everything that he points out, it's a double standard. There's hypocrisy there, and that's what I was going to go over.
Well, and here's the thing also, the Louis Black character. Louis Black is one of Olivia and I's favorite comedians of all time.
Oh, he's amazing.
We love Louis. He actually was the character in that movie, the little red angry guy. He was him.
He was angry.
Yeah, he is Louis Black. All right, here we go.
And failed at vodka. But you know what? It's not Trump's fault. It's his base's fault. The people who scream that the guy should run things because he's a billionaire. And then these same people send him money to pay his legal bills. Wait, I'm going to clear this up. The billionaire can't pay his legal bills? When he wanted to redo his plane, he asked for donations. His base paid for it. When he did fucking digital trading cards, his base bought them. When he did gold, god awful high top sneakers that you can buy on Temu for $20, they bought them. Do you get that this low rent white trash psycho is the first president in my lifetime to whore merch? But let's say that's okay because he's such a good leader. Is he? Because you and his base seem to have amnesia about how bad this dude dumped in his own diapers on the daily. He stared into an eclipse. You want to go down memory lane with me? Trade. Trump screwed up trade deals so bad that farmers lost billions.
Everyone keeps saying he looks like Kevin Bacon. He looks like, Ted Nugent's son. No. He looks like an evil Guile from Street Fighter who is anorexic or got cancer.
Oh, I was going to say an anorexic Kevin Bacon. That's funny.
Yeah, no. Like if you've ever played video games, he looks like Guile.
I don't remember.
I don't know who that
well,
is.
let me hold on. Let me get it for you.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Let me get you Guile, but anorexic and someone who has never used or lifted a day in their life. I mean, the guy's muscle tone is pathetic. But here's Guile, and there's Guile.
Oh yeah, I see it.
He looks just like Guile from Street Fighter, who has never lifted a weight and doesn't have any testosterone and is overcome by estrogen and has women tits. Okay, here we go. I fucking hope he sees this. Did you know that?
Well, I'm about to wreck him. So
I know you are. Did you know the guy who I went after, like something Barry, whatever he was, Digiberry, whatever? He made a retort video on me, and literally, like, I played his entire segment, and he picked apart mine and only played certain things. And yeah, what a putz. Here you go.
Funny.
Yeah, that's what they always do. And I told him, I said, why don't you come on? Since you seem to only want to go ahead and use sound bites and misconstrue what I said, why don't you come on and we can have a debate? Poof. Didn't hear anything from him. Even
tariffs on all goods and agriculture, which, by the way, we pay those tariffs, not the countries he put them on. It cost farmers billion. And then because China canceled all those contracts, Trump had to send the farmers subsidy. So first it cost farmers billions, then it cost the American taxpayers billions. Yeah, but he got my taxes lowered. Did he? Because here's how your tax cut worked. The tax cut taxes permanently for, ready? Corporations. Who now?
Fuck. Are you going to touch this one? No.
Oh, I'm going to touch all of it. But were you going
to touch this one?
Yeah.
You're sure?
Absolutely.
All right, then I'm gonna say 10 seconds. It wasn't fucking Republicans who solid off on the corporations. That was Democrats. Thank you very much. And they left out the American citizen, extending those tax cuts. Yeah, because Donald Trump wouldn't want to give permanent tax cuts to the citizens. Right. Because when have Democrats ever done that? But anyway.
Now only pay 21%. To you normal working people, your tax cut ends next year in 2025. Look it up. I'm not making this up. This constant criminal 3-card Monty'd you, and you bought it. And he added $7 trillion to the debt. He shit the bed during the pandemic so bad.
It's going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
Do you know why?
Oh, wow. Kind of funny. What? It's now been downgraded as a flu?
It's because he actually closed all the pandemic response teams in 2018, including the pandemic control lab in Wuhan. How did that work out? Well, I don't know. We had a pandemic, morons. We lost 3 million jobs. 1 million died. And the one company he backed up for the vaccine closed because the vaccine didn't work. We had empty stores. And then he made a deal with Saudi Arabia to cut oil production because gas was too cheap for them. He has never worked for you. Yet, the sweet potato Hitler base is still voting for him. How is that possible? How the hell are you people believing this man after 64 court cases proved there was no voter fraud? His own company, Cyber Ninjas, found he didn't do anything. He lost. Fact. How can you follow a dude whose best friend was the most notorious pedophile in the history of America? Fact. How can you follow a man who has been proven to have sexually assaulted women. He even admitted it. Fact. How the hell, after all he did to the country, all he did to our economy, called our troops losers and suckers, fact, and wrecked our worldwide reputation, and after what he did to you, his own voters,
I love the poorly educated.
because you got totally fact over, how are you still supporting him? What if Obama had done all the things just listed? You going to vote for him too? The only thing I can figure is that Trump's base has to all be from the cast of The Hills Have Eyes.
You know what? So what if he wants to grab pussy? I want to grab pussy.
Christopher Titus,
Now,
this is the Armageddon update.
Funny.
Fuck!
Oh, this part's
Fucking
hilarious.
tired.
Walking away.
Fucking asshole continue to keep lying, and you dumb shits keep believing it. Fuck, man, we're gonna lose our country, and you guys aren't gonna care, and you think he's gonna help you?
This is funny. I was like, this is brilliant. See, I thought that part was. Listen,
That part was funny. That part was funny.
You do yours, and
right.
I've seen worse.
Well, first of all, so Christopher Titus, right? By the way, I'm not going to do this in the angry tone that he did, but I am going to debunk literally every point that he went through. So, first of all, the Hitler claim. Matt and I have covered this on the show before. He claims that Hitler was somehow, it's a Republican right-leaning thing. No, they were socialist. They were left-leaning. There's more in common in fascism with the left than there is the right. You got to own that one. Number 2, treason. You really want to talk about treason? Do you really want to talk about stolen top secret documents that were stored next to a Corvette in a garage unlocked for the world to see? Do you want to go down that route? Right? And there's a point to this, and I'm going to get to it at the end. So if we're talking about top secret documents, if we're talking about treason or Hitler, if we're talking about pussy grabbing, let's not bring up Tara Reid. Right, Joe Biden? Right, Christopher Titus? Should we not mention Tara Reid for that same fucking argument? Right? You don't want to go down that route, right? Do we want to talk about less intelligent or less class? What the hell does that even mean? Has anybody even fact-checked any of that crap? You want to talk about the fact that he couldn't ride a bike? Well, wait a minute. Just this couple of years ago, we had footage of Joe Biden who couldn't go 20 feet in a straight line on a bike. How's that relevant? It's not, right? We're talking about, literally, this guy is just blaming the voter base. He's looking at everyone who would vote for Republican and saying, you guys are the problem. He's not looking at Trump. He's saying, you people are the problem. That is what he said, right? When he's talking about trade and the problems there, or taxes, the tax rate being the lowest ever, or the lowest ever, 21%. Let me ask you a question, Titus. If Ford, if GM, if IBM or Apple gets a 21% tax break, does that translate to a lower cost on my end? It does. You know how that works? Because corporations don't pay taxes. To your point, moron. Corporations don't pay that. They pass that cost roll that cost into the end cost of the product, and then you buy it. So if you buy an Apple product, or if you buy a GM car or a Toyota, that product gets taxed. That's how they pay that, right? Corporations don't pay taxes. When we're talking about those 64 court cases or any of that crap, I mean, how many convictions? How many convictions on insurrection have occurred? How many charges of insurrection? Any? Or are we just talking about the classified documents? You tell me. And so when we're talking about like this level of hypocrisy, when we talk about how people like Titus, these left-leaning, they tend to just shy a blind eye towards their side of the aisle. They're willing to accept the corruption that exists on the left and only point fingers at the right. That's where you fall into problems. Okay? That's a level of surface level thinking. These people cannot apply critical thinking to a logical problem. If both sides are crooked, and they are, I just went through the list, I'm willing to accept that Donald Trump, Republicans have committed crimes in the past, sure. That's not a secret. So have the Democrats. That's not a secret either. They're all over the headlines all the time. But only one side of the aisle wants more power over me than the other side. Right? One side of the aisle is willing to accept that hey, Leeroy Jenkins, Matthew, Olivia, that these people have inalienable rights. They have certain things that we cannot take away, and we want to charge them less taxes and make sure that we don't infringe on that Bill of Rights. One side of the aisle wants to do that way more than the other, and it's the side that Titus represents. He is the people like him are the problem in this country because they have a platform like the Taylor Swifties. They have a platform, and young people who are unable to apply some level of critical thinking, they fall for that. They fall for these people who have, a comedy act, or they're good singers, or they're movie stars, whatever it is, right? They see them on a screen and they think, oh, I want to be like that. And the next thing you know, they say, oh, well, I'll just vote in that same way. No, don't do that. Use a little bit of critical thinking. Get to the end of that mathematical equation. Figure out which side wants less control over you. That's where I was at.
Good stuff. Good stuff, dude. I've got my opinions. I'm going to pass to Liv first, so we leave her something.
There's not much to leave. I mean, Leeroy pretty much said it all. But I don't know. I missed half his video, but no, I didn't believe
the guy
anything
is
he
genuinely
said.
funny. He has an amazing
I'm sure
delivery.
he is. Yeah. I'm sure if I watched like a Comedy Central special or watched a show, I'm pretty sure I'd laugh my ass off, but he wasn't very funny in that video at all. He looked like he was trying to be funny, and he wasn't. It was going the complete opposite way.
It's interesting. I'm going to come from a different perspective. I give him full-throated applause and for even trying to enter the political fray. Good for him. Sure. Good for you. You have a voice. I'm glad you used it. What you don't get to use your voice for is to lie, because your credibility in this subject is already, at best, amateurish. You're a comedian.
Right.
You see things in simplistic myopathy that ultimately is used in small, tiny bites for people to consume in nanoseconds, when this conversation is in decades and years and millennia. The history of politics, the history of the world cannot be surmised in a quip.
Right.
Because not only are you doing a complete disservice to the truth, you're scratching the surface where those tiny little petulant, flippant remarks may have scratched that surface of truth, but the context that you're leaving out is so extremely important. So you're achieving strong humor. And I laughed at most of your deliveries. In fact, him staring at the sun in the eclipse was great. A lot of the things you said I thought were fucking hilarious. I think the guy is funny. I love when he walked away. I was like, dude, that's genius. I did that one time. Walk off set. I'm like, it's great. But that's because it's comedy. Now, if I look at it through the lens of political discourse and historical fact, you're a fucking idiot.
Yep.
You're a fucking idiot. You're a complete fucking idiot. And that's hard for me to say because I want to like your stuff. So let's go. I'm just going to blow your thing apart. And I'm not going to do what Leeroy did. That's what I always do. I respond to your just verbal diarrhea. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut you off at the bowel, so you can no longer spew your verbal diarrhea. In that entire tirade, your ultimate thought process was to establish that a good president is a president who does not make mistakes, who does not have character flaws, right, who does not have policy decisions that ultimately can hurt instead of help, that hinder instead of helping people be prosperous. Those are your guidelines. that physical aptitude is absolutely imperative to be a successful president. That you can't have a manifest of what most older people look like. Thinning hair. Since they're on the public stage, they may go ahead and put some makeup on before the set. That they may wear a tummy tucker or a back brace like Kennedy did. Or George Bush, who would actually, in his gray hair, his eyebrows didn't match. So he would use in his eyebrows some gray in order so they matched. Because as we know, my beard is going gray and my head is not.
Bless you.
Bless you again.
Bless you twice.
And you know, what's funny is one half is gray and the other half isn't. So some people will make changes to their appearance in order to feel more confident. But your entire measurement of a good president is somebody who is antithetical to all those things I just mentioned. Okay? And that is completely fair. That is your judgment. So I simply want to ask you the question. Please tell me how many mistakes Joe Biden has made in his presidency. Right. How many ailments does he have? How many times has he made policy that's been ineffectual to help people prosper, to help people grow? What has he done for the economy? How do we feel about the border? How do we feel his general malaise towards people who are killed overseas in Afghanistan or Palestine, Ohio, where he finally showed up because it was a political campaign, or actually going to Maui and spending some real time with those people? What about actually being able to say people who are murdered by illegal immigrants actually say their name correctly? How about the gaffes and the slips? How about the racist comments? How about eulogizing Klan members? How about talking about busing kids? How about saying black kids are just as bright as white kids? How about talking about roaches when he's talking about black people and little kids bouncing up and rubbing his hair and his legs up and down? Yeah. How about these things? How about the guy who did quid pro quo in two instances where we have him on tape, not a recollection of a conversation that took place. That's not verbatim. That is just supposition and conjecture, because ultimately it wasn't a recording. It wasn't transcribed. It was a verbal recollection of the phone call with Ukraine president. And they impeached him for it. So how about we go ahead and we focus on what happened in Afghanistan when he went ahead and told the president that if he did not go ahead and execute orders summariously to his wishes, that he would pull air support and intelligence from the United States and no longer help. That is called quid pro quo. You may agree with it, but I don't care. It's quid pro quo. How about telling that you have to go ahead and Burisma and fire a prosecutor who was looking into it and saying, I'm going to hold $1 billion away from you, and if you don't agree, just go ahead and call Obama. And then, holy shit, they fired him. By 5 o'clock that day.
He was fired.
Son of a bitch, he was fired. So explain to me, if that is your basis, then I have just as much ammunition to discredit your president, and I won't.
Exactly.
I will not, because I will only base it upon their merit. And if I do base it on that, you win the argument, because Donald Trump says some real stupid shit all the time. Sure. And I can't defend the things that he says because I don't defend the things Biden says. But what I will tell you is that if I look at our policies, all I got to do is have you look at the Middle East and explain to me this, that the Middle East under Senior, under Reagan, under Clinton, under Obama, under Junior, all open conflicts going on in the Middle East during that time. And the only time there wasn't is when fucking Donald Trump was president. Explain to me how he had 3 peace accords that no one has ever been able to achieve in the Middle East. Just from that account, just from that account alone, I completely just blew you out of the water. Now, if you want to talk about the border, we can do that. You want to talk about the opioid crisis and how he literally got that under control? You want to talk about the VA? You want to talk about the USMCA and NAFTA? You want to talk about jobs and growth, the stock market, all record numbers, and no matter how you want to slice it, if you want to say that the stock market is indicative of the economy, then Donald Trump wins out, because there's not a president in history who has the gap from presidency to presidency that Donald Trump has. Before he took it, it was sitting at 8,000 to 10,000. He got up to 27,000. Nobody's had that type of growth. It was monumental. And yes, Joe Biden is having success in the stock market. But remember, you're the same party that said that the stock market isn't indicative of a healthy economy, that it's a bubble. So you can't have it both ways. Here's another thing. I got a picture for this guy. Figured I'd show him this too. I hope he comes on my show. The difference is I don't need to read from a teleprompter to do this. I can do this all fucking day, bro. Because I can't do comedy. And although I'm funny, I am not a comedian. And although you have a platform where you can actually talk about things that are political, you're not an analyst. Not even fucking close.
Nope.
Hey, gas is up to $3.51. Average gas price is $3.51. We took it over in January, $2.39. So let me make sure I understand this. Gas prices were at an all-time low based upon the overall dollar valuation when Donald Trump was in office, and he held that price for his entirety of his presidency, even when he left for COVID, or before when COVID happened and left in January of 2021. Still the lowest that we had seen. What happened? Joe Biden came in, regulated, went ahead and put small businesses and oil companies on lease grabs and made them lease unattainable type lands. Went ahead and started buying foreign oil. Went ahead and started depleting our overall oil reserves. Look at that now. Look where that's at. Good luck getting that price again. But here's the interesting thing. Gas prices went completely up. You know what he said? You can't hold a president accountable. That's or Vladimir Putin's fault. And we all sat there and laughed. Then it went down. And you know what he said? I've lowered gas prices, blah, 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 blah. Wait a second. You didn't take credit when they went up. So why are you getting credit when they're going down? And now, what are you doing? You're blaming Putin for gas prices again and Donald Trump, that Donald Trump's winning, so therefore gas prices are going up. What the fuck are you talking about? So the only thing I can tell you is this. You want to know why I vote for Donald Trump? Is it because I love him? No, I don't love Donald Trump because he's not a god. And I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe in idolizing a man because he pees the same way I do and he puts his pants on the same way as I do. And he may have made a lot of money for what he did in life, and good for him. I've done things that are far more heroic than that. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to judge him based upon one situation. I'm not even going to go ahead and defend him. What I will tell you is why I vote for him is because you fuckers don't want him. And anything that can stand up against evil, anything that throws a mix into your plans that doesn't make it right, anything that's going to stop Washington from taking advantage of its citizens, anything that's going to bring some accountability to that corrupt, swamp-infested shithole, I'm going to vote for that fucking guy because I don't care if he ruffles feathers. I don't care if he tweets mean shit in the middle of the night. Yep. What I do know is he cannot be bought, and that's the only fucking thing that matters. Is he won't sell us out for you. He may take advantage of his people. He may take money from us to build his plane, but he's taking money from the people who support him. And I'll take that fucking guy over people who are taking money from China and Russia and every other Tom, Dick, and Harry outside of the citizenry of this country. You say it's a bad thing. I say it's a good thing. And this is a guy who hasn't given Donald Trump one fucking penny ever in his life. There's my thing. Go fuck yourself.
I love it. Dude, that was awesome.
What a dick.
I want to hear what Olivia has to say.
I have to say that whatever is blooming right now needs to fucking die, is what I have to say. I hate allergies. I'm dying. It's like it hits a certain point of the night and it feels like I've got sandpaper in my eyes and I have to take my contacts out. No matter what I do, I gotta take them out. And I hate wearing my glasses, but I'm blind and can't see without them. So
stock barrels, we're almost half of what we were. We're down about 57, about to level 57% full. We had 362 million barrels as of today. In 2022 to 2021, we had 565 million barrels. A lot of people say that Donald Trump increased the oil reserves, and he didn't. That's a complete lie. It's not true. Trump says that. What Trump did is that he didn't use any, and that's the thing. Presidents had, and he did not increase the value. In fact, it went up a little bit higher once he left office versus Joe Biden, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that Donald Trump didn't bleed the oil reserves. They were at 565 million barrels.
What Biden effectively did, if I'm not mistaken, Matt, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong here, is that Biden released some level of the oil reserves in order to bring the prices down a little bit during midterms. Was that?
Yeah. So the whole thing is that Joe Biden used the oil reserves to stimulate the price of gas. And that is, a lot of people, the president doesn't control prices. He does. If you flood the market with oil, you're going to control the prices. If you limit the flow of oil, you're going to control the prices. Saudi Arabia has been doing it for years and controlling OPEC and the amount of the dollar, which is no longer based in gold or silver. It's based on oil. People go, why are you friends with Saudi Arabia? Because that's where our dollar is vested in, folks. They can kill as many reporters as they want. The United States is never going to turn their back on Saudi Arabia until we find another place to invest our overall dollar and what our dollar is based off. But to sit here and say that Joe Biden hasn't affected gas prices, well, that's not true. And it has nothing to do with the Keystone Pipeline. I mean, the Keystone Pipeline was nothing. That was an insignificant. It wasn't insignificant to the 5,000 people that didn't get their jobs. I understand that, but tar sands going across the ocean is not going to change gas prices. It can't even be refined in a lot of the United States. So this was a very corrosive style oil that can only be processed in certain refineries. So to sit here and say that was going to control gas prices, what did it is that he limited Texas Oil. He limited the land leases. He told them that they could no longer devoid leases after drilling a certain feet. And the reason why is there were empty pockets, or some of these leases to set up on would cost more with bringing in the machinery than they would actually extract from the earth. This limited what these people could do. He started buying oil from other countries. We remember this when he went to South America and tried to trade with Brazil, when he goes ahead and went and tried to get oil from Iran and oil from Russia, and then went and kissed Saudi Arabia's ass. You remember when he did all this? And instead, he didn't get it. They all told him to pound sand, so he went more into the reserves. So he's made America weaker. The entire thing is going to be about oil. His push is to continue this EV completely stupid and dead initiative, where I could understand if these governments, especially Joe Biden, would come in and say, listen, we want to change 10% of the overall automobile industry to electric by 2040. That is a very feasible and easy thing to do, because that was the current trend. But when you go ahead and say that by 2032, you're going to have nothing but electric vehicles in the United States, not only are you delusional, but you are a danger to America. You are making us dependent upon our foreign adversaries. We do not have this technology. We don't have the chipset. We don't have the raw material. Half of this shit is made in hostile countries. It is a ridiculous notion to believe that scoring the earth and going back to the days of blasting the sides of mountains is somehow going to produce an economic impact that's viable. You may clear the atmosphere, but you're going to destroy terra firma in the process. So there's only so many, miles of layers of earth that we have. And you guys are the ones that sit here and talk about fracking and how dangerous it is, but you scoring thousands of feet into the earth's crust somehow is decent and okay, but fracking isn't. I guess it is that if you can actually see the damage you're causing, then it's okay, versus not seeing the damage you're causing makes it not. This is why I don't argue with liberals. They very rarely make sense.
It's like trying to get rid of all the air traffic and kill all the cows.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so
and literally every point that guy brought up, that Christopher Titus had brought up, there was some counterpoint that showed that as maybe some of the things that he said, even if it were based in fact, there's always a corresponding fact that points to the other side that is just as bad.
Yep. And always. Venezuela oil bomb, not Brazil. I'm sorry. I am doing everything I can not to literally fucking keel over in this chair. So
I told him not to come on the show tonight.
I had to come on.
Wouldn't.
I love you.
We need to wrap it up early, actually.
No, we don't.
Matt,
We're almost done.
No.
I know I look like shit, but that's okay. All right. So topic 2, Rittenhouse isn't a leader of men. Okay, this one's mine. And
this will be good.
Yeah. Listen to me, folks. I made a Kyle Rittenhouse t-shirt. I think the kid is 100% innocent of murder. In the court of law, in public opinion in the court of law, I will stand by his innocence, and I believe that although what he did was avoidable, that doesn't mean that I disagree with the outcome. His life was in danger. He stood up for himself, and he 100% had every right to defend his life. He was being threatened with a firearm. He was being threatened with a skateboard. There was absolutely, without a doubt, no reason for him not to reply like he did. And he did it in a manner that was efficient. He showed you that you don't need a $3,000 rig to be effective, that you don't need military training in order to defend yourself. And all of those things, in my opinion, in my estimation, don't make him a hero.
Right.
I will tell you this, is I know plenty of people who killed a lot of people in the military. And it doesn't make him a hero. We leave the word hero for people who didn't make it back. I have never heard anyone ever, in my opinion, call anyone who is living a hero unless they have the CMH across their neck, Congressional Medal of Honor. That's my level of feeling towards it. Do I think that those people are not heroes? No. I believe they are, but I think the military people in this country tend to have a different definition of the word hero. Do I believe that Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero? No.
He's not.
Do I think we should celebrate him? No. Do I think we should honor and protect him? Yes, because he's an individual of this country and he has those rights inherent from a written law and from God's law. But there is a word that's being tossed around in this community, and it's called the word grifter. And most assuredly, Kyle Rittenhouse, although his actions before this was nothing other than trying to get home and safe, and handled himself in the most profound and perfect way that was admirable, even for the most seasoned military veteran. For one man to stand down hundreds who wanted to hurt him and to get to the police in the right way without getting shot with a weapon, it's pretty fucking impressive if you watch the story. What Rittenhouse did was incredible, that he wasn't killed by that mob or by the police when he approached with an AR. Kyle, okay, people say Kyle doesn't perceive himself as a hero. He most certainly does. And I'm going to tell you why. So you can sit here and argue all you want. Yes, he does. There's a video, which I don't appreciate either. But Turning Point USA, like the vultures that they are, have already latched on to Kyle Rittenhouse. And I will tell you this, the media conglomerates that we all despise, CNN, MSNBC, that there are new ones out there. Blaze Media, Turning Point USA, The Daily Wire. They fired Candace Owens today.
No.
Really? Why?
So if you think that this isn't about money and grifting dollars from you, you're incredibly wrong. Now, there's a guy, it was Damani and his brother. Come on, the Wright brothers.
Damani Felder?
And who? What's his brother?
Damani, and we had him on the show.
Yeah. No, yeah. It doesn't matter. There's I'm my mind. But the Wright brothers, the one thing that I love, and I think it is Damani, his older brother, who's lost 100 pounds. He looks freaking amazing. I'm so proud of him. He has shirts like I do. But he doesn't pimp himself out. He doesn't sell himself out. And that's the one thing I got to love about him. And I don't do the same. I don't do the,
Trey.
Listen, I haven't asked for Trey.
Trey.
That's right. Trey and Damani. Now, I haven't asked for $1 tonight. By the way, you can go ahead and donate to the show at linktapgo/the DUM Show. Moderators are going to put it up. We go on donations, and I'm sick as a dog, and damn it, it would be nice. But we're 100% funded by ourselves. But anyway.
We need some Gatorade.
So the thing is that it's not to bag on Kyle Rittenhouse. He's being taken advantage of. The guy went into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. He can't work. He can't do the things that he wants. I get all this. I understand. I am empathetic to that plight. But now, in order to get those things, he has to go to Turning Point USA, and he's now going on tour and standing on the dais and speaking. And he's not talking about like doing speeches for, you know, self-defense or speeches for, you know, like motivational speaking. He's out there talking politics, and he's going against people who are all smarter than him. And I want you to listen to this so you understand where I'm coming from, because I'm not saying that his story doesn't have some merit. I'm not saying that I don't like Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm telling you, he's not a hero. And he is not a voice of conservatism in the United States. He is a child who shot 3 people in self-defense and was innocent of that. And I don't want him speaking for me. And I don't want him speaking for me because I want to say this with the utmost respect that I possibly can. He is not intelligent. And when he is challenged, he doesn't know what to say. Here's the video.
Okay, I'll answer the question of racist things he said. He says we shouldn't celebrate Juneteenth. We shouldn't celebrate Martin Luther King Day. We should.
So Kyle Rittenhouse is at a speech, Turning Point USA. There's no conservatives there. It's all activists. And they start asking questions. And the comment is that Donald Trump is a racist. And Kyle Rittenhouse does what Ben Shapiro would do, or Charlie Kirk, or Graham Allen, or even myself or Leeroy, or even Olivia would say, well, why don't you go ahead and tell me some of the things? First of all, you better not ask number one thing is you don't ask a question that you don't know the answer to when it comes to intelligence in the military, because you're going to get yourself your nuts in a vice if you start asking questions that you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So don't ask a question unless you know the answer. And he asked this guy straight up, please tell me the things that Donald Trump has said that's racist. Okay? Now, anything else that this guy says, Rittenhouse better have a list ready to go to counteract all the things Donald Trump has said. Charlie Kirk would have it. Shapiro would have it. I would have it. Hannity would have it. So here we are. Watch.
Okay, I'll answer the question of racist things he said. He said we shouldn't celebrate Juneteenth. We shouldn't celebrate Martin Luther King Day. We should be working those days. It's called Ketanji Brown Jackson, an affirmative action hire. He's told nonsense about George Floyd. And he said he'd be scared if a black pilot was on a plane. Does that not seem racist?
I don't know anything about that.
Okay, first off, Ketanji Brown Jackson was a diversity hire who happens to be extremely qualified. So, honestly, is she a diversity hire? Well, let me ask you a question. If she was a white male, would they have got her? No, because Joe Biden said he wanted an African-American female, and that's what he got. He asked that about his vice president too. So which one's more racist? That you actually eliminate people from getting a job, or you go ahead and ask for certain specifications, or you just simply acknowledge that it is a diversity hire? Just because you call out the truth doesn't make it racist. We can go on this whole thing and take every single point. Kyle Rittenhouse asked the question, and then he says, I don't know anything about that. Well, then you shouldn't have fucking asked the question. He's not done.
Answer, no. Does that seem racist? Is a yes or no question, Kyle?
After all the things I just told you, would you consider that hate speech?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Deflection! Yeah! Fuck! Yeah!
Ran away.
Yeah!
Don't even get me started on the fact that there's a bunch of complete fucking morons there who can't argue in a debate. Kyle Rittenhouse is not a debater. He's not educated. He's not in this game. He doesn't understand all this stuff. even to set him up like that, Turning Point USA should be fucking ashamed of themselves, because the kid doesn't have the ability to wax intellect, even with the most dipshit of dipshits. This person up here screaming and yelling, you didn't win. You didn't do anything. All you did exactly what you should have done. You chased a kid off stage. Like, you guys tried to chase him once, and then you had people die. Your hatred from him doesn't make him less intelligent. His answers make him less intelligent. I want one more video to show you what they did after this, just so you understand that I'm not defending those idiots. I'm simply saying that Kyle Rittenhouse should be able to defend himself like he did with an AR-15 with his mouth. And he doesn't have that capability. He is unarmed. He is unarmed. Watch this. Hold on, I got to switch it.
I will say this while you're pulling that video up, because you asked the question, and I really feel like this is a solid answer. It is.
Go ahead.
Is Kyle Rittenhouse? No, you're good. Is Kyle Rittenhouse a hero? No, he's a human, because a human will save their own life. A hero will save someone else's.
Yeah, that's pretty. And you know what? They're going to be like, well, he went there and he was armed. Listen, he's the guy that, I hate to say it, I can't tell you what he did, because that's not fair. That's not fair for me to sit here and say, I know exactly why he did what he did. But there's looking for a fight and there's not looking for a fight.
Anyone going to one of those is looking for trouble. I mean, they know what it is. It's not like this was the first protest and the first one that had happened. This was hundreds in. And anyone going down there with an AR or any type of weapon knows that they're going to get into some sort of trouble. And
they're actually begging for the confrontation.
Exactly.
I would love to have Kyle Rittenhouse on this show and just be like, dude, I don't want to hear what your thoughts are on how to solve these problems. I want you to tell how dangerous the left is. And that's what you should be doing. And what he should have said was, I don't have an answer to those questions. I don't represent Donald Trump. I represent myself, and I'm telling you a situation that I went through, which doesn't give me worldly powers to answer everything you want. And then if I don't, somehow I'm a failure. If you want my opinion, I don't like hearing any of those things. Thank you, Debbie, for your wonderful, amazing donation. That helps out tremendously. You are a godsend. But he didn't do that. You asked a question, and I hate to say it, you got set up, bro. And Turning Point USA should be ashamed for putting you in there. First of all, why is that not packed? They didn't want you there to begin with. You were an extremely dangerous, was it Memphis?
Yeah, I don't know where that happened.
I think it was Memphis. Liv, will you look it up, please? But you're talking high homicide rate. And then this is what you get after this. This is, watch this kid. First of all, he did run off stage. That's absolutely what he did. He ran off stage. I just saw it. Here, watch this.
Yeah. Angry hordes. Look at the crowds. Angry crowd. They may have all have pitchforks, right?
Yep.
Burn her!
That guy doesn't give a shit about justice.
Nope.
It's the University of Memphis.
He just wants to light something on a fire. That's all
He just wants to burn shit down, wants Whitey to pay. And you know what? I'm sorry. How many black people were killed by Kyle Rittenhouse?
I thought they were both white guys.
0.
How many of them were armed?
All of them.
What was their history like? Pedophilia?
I don't remember.
Domestic violence? Yeah. So you know what? I understand why people get frustrated, but BLM, this shit doesn't help. You're not helping anything. And honestly, this kid he's went through some shit. And if you've never made a dumb decision in your life, then I don't know how to help you. But people make dumb decisions. You got to watch the rest of this because it gets worse.
Can I point out before you hit pause, before you hit unpause, look at that sign she's holding up. Hate speech isn't welcome here. but yet no one can define what the hell that is. It's just speech they disagree with.
Yeah, some of that shit that they said to him sound pretty hateful to me.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is hate speech is okay as long as it's towards people who you think are okay to hate. Is that the way this works?
So long as they agree with it. Yep.
See, and that's the whole thing. I'm not here to rip on Kyle. It takes a lot of moxie to stand up in front of people. I've done it. And I've done it to tens of thousands of people. I've stood up in an auditorium and given a speech to. And I've done it in front of 5 or 6 people. It's not easy, no matter what you do. But they should be absolutely ashamed that they set this kid up for this. And if you don't give him the ability to be successful, then you're going to make him a failure. And I don't agree with it. He's not a hero. Watch the rest of this.
Yeah.
Look at all those white outraged people.
I know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Definitely fuck you, boy.
These people are just as simplistic in thought as he is. And honestly, they should not have a voice until you've experienced life. I don't think taking advantage of him in his situation is the right thing to do.
And our daughter wonders why we don't want her to go to certain colleges.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then this is the reaction from Kyle that just makes me laugh.
Who's helping me with my security today. Hey guys, so we just got back from Memphis University. I'm with Byron, who's helping me with my security today. Huge shout out to him and his team, and Odin, K9 Odin. It was quite interesting watching the videos and seeing some of the articles from the media saying that I got there at 4 o'clock. And
we're wizards.
Exactly. What were we doing sitting at a Bass Pro Shops at 4 o'clock?
We're at Bass Pro at 4 o'clock.
But anyways, great event, and I think it's funny that a lot of the media is saying we got booed off stage. In reality, we did a hard cutoff time and just happened to leave at that. Great event, interesting people to say the least, and both dogs, Milo and Odin, did a great job working together.
Absolutely, they did.
Absolutely. Be sure to check out BTS K9 if you want a dog like Milo or Odin.
Get at him, guys. Stay safe.
Yeah, I've had a lot of hard cutoffs. I don't do it scrambling and running. So,
right.
It's stupid. This poor kid, he needs to have a girl. He needs to have a girlfriend. He needs to go out there and go through some breakups. He needs to have a couple jobs. He wanted to join the military. I understand your life is forever changed, but man, you're so much more than this, dude. And I'm just telling you, these grifters are trying to take advantage of you, and it makes me sick. It makes me sick because he seems like a nice enough kid. It just makes me sick because these big right-wing media outlets are really becoming very much like the left-wing media outlets. And everyone's like, well, Candace Owens, she said some things that were against Jews. Yeah, and she has every right to say that. I have defended and I have went after anti-Semites on this show. I've had the entire Groyper army after my ass, okay, from Fuentes' boys, and I don't give a shit. Candace Owens has said some things that I don't agree with, but I don't think you should fire her for it. However, Candace Owens' comments were, I'm free. So obviously she wasn't very happy with that. But for Ben Shapiro not to admit that Israel is not going completely overboard in this situation, they are. And I told you they were going to. It's not hard. Do they have a right to defend themselves? Sure. But is the threat neutralized? Yeah. Okay. You've just created a 300-mile buffer zone between you and the closest fucking city that's still standing in Gaza. I think you're going to be okay for a while. Do they need to eradicate? Do you think they're going to give that back? Do you think Israel is going to say, here you go, take Gaza? No. So I understand people have strong opinions about this, and I know I sure do. But you understand that not all Muslims are terrorists. Not all Muslims are horrible people. I know a shit ton of Muslims. And I have no problem with any of them. There is a terrorist organization inside Gaza that needs to be eradicated and eliminated. Unfortunately, they tie themselves to civilians, and the civilian death tolls are high. I can tell you this, they could have just flattened the entire area in one strike, and then everything would have been, nobody would have any chance to complain. If they wanted to kill all the civilians, they would all be dead. So I don't get into the Rothschild conspiracy stuff that she does. I don't get into that stuff like Jake Shields and Stu Peters. In fact, Sarah keeps sending me Stu Peters stuff. And I said, don't fucking send me. The guy's an idiot. He sounds like a little Aryan nation Hitler who's standing up in the prison yard and getting all his white brethren biker gangs to rise up against the black population in the prison. I don't care. But Candace Owens should not have been fired for speaking her mind. Because just because Ben Shapiro is Jewish and just because the Daily Wire is predominantly Jewish, if she wants to speak out against that, what if she spoke out against men? Would she have been fired? What if she would have had some questions about Christians? Would she have been fired? What if she questioned transsexuals and gays and lesbians like Matt Walsh does, who is openly fucking homophobic? I love Matt Walsh, but he's a homophobe.
Yeah.
That's the definition of homophobia. It's just, I'm sorry, guys, that's it. He's also a sexist. But you know what? Doesn't mean he's not a smart man. Doesn't mean he doesn't have some things that he says that are really good, but he has flaws and inequities just like we all do. Why should Candace Owens be fired? I don't know. Jake Shields is a fucking idiot. Okay? And that is I saw him on the Hodge Twins. Why are the Hodge Twins putting Jake Shields on? Have you read Jake Shields' Twitter page? Have you guys seen the shit that he puts out about Jews?
No.
I mean, dude, it reads like Mein Kampf.
Oh, God.
And you got this guy, and the Hodge Twins are talking to this guy, and I'm sitting there going, you guys should be choking the shit out of him. I don't know. I think this entire world has gone nuts. There used to be delineations. There were lines of demarcation between good and evil, and we could recognize it. But man, the evil gets just as much love as the good. I think Candace Owens is going to be fine. I think she's going to be happy. I thought she was horrible at the Daily Wire. I did not like her as a Tyra Banks host, dressed up in these weird ass freaking preppy clothes. Put her back in a t-shirt and jeans.
Honestly, when she first started out and she just opened her YouTube channel, and there was a few segments where she was talking about being red-pilled. Excuse me, how she red-pilled herself. And she did like these quick kind of comedy skits where she would come out to her parents. She would like sit on the couch and she would talk about, Mom, Dad, I think I'm gay, right? And her parents would go, oh, honey, we've always known, and we love you just the same. All right, Mom, Dad, I think I'm a Republican. And they were like, oh my God, get out, And she did like these comedy skits that were hilarious. And honestly, that kind of thing worked better for her That's what got her noticed to begin with. And obviously it led to some great things. She was able to get into Daily Wire. She was able to get, open up a lot of doors. She had a, interview with John Stossel and a bunch of other people. But you could tell, though, that some of that kind of momentum kind of stopped. Like, to Matt's point, it didn't seem like she was happy with what she was doing. She was almost like she was argumentative all the time. And she was.
They tried to make a black. They tried to make a black girl white. Can we just be honest? Can we just fuck? They tried to make her white, and she's not. She is a beautiful Nubian, gorgeous, intelligent, smart Republican conservative woman. Let her be black. Let her fucking go up there and swing. Don't try to make her white. You guys put her in a bunch of fucking floral patterned shirts and put soft pink lights behind her. Bullshit. Put a gun behind her and give her a t-shirt.
You don't know that she didn't dress herself, though. I mean, maybe she wanted that. I don't know.
Have you ever seen Tyra Banks? Or not Tyra Banks, but have you ever seen Candace Owens before? She never was in that shit. She didn't dress like that. I'm sorry, man.
People dress differently when they run into money, though. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe she liked it.
I seriously doubt it. Then why was she unhappy?
I don't know.
Well,
just because you run into money doesn't mean that your boss is going to tell you how to dress necessarily. I mean, although it is a social media.
What? Can you please tell me? You were in the fucking military.
Ah, that's different.
No, it's not. You just told me your boss doesn't tell you how to dress. I'm like, if anyone knows that that's not true, it's you. Every job I've ever worked at, they've told me what to wear.
I mean, exterior to the military. I'm not equivocating her to the military.
Okay, what I was saying is that you have firsthand knowledge that that's not true, what you just said. That's the way Candace Owens, this is before, okay? This is before. Hold on. I'm just going to show you before CPAC. She wore not CPAC, but before Diller. She wore black clothes, predominantly dark.
Girl.
She's amazing. Dark jackets. Let's see. I'm seeing if I can find some more. She was always conservative, but her color scheme wasn't like, I can't believe we're talking about her color scheme and shit. But I'm trying to show you this picture. These are huge images. But there, look at that. Right? Real simple. But some of the shit they had her in, dude, I'm sorry. This is not Candace Owens. And I'm not the only one. That's not Candace Owens.
Those are shoulder pads right there. I can't stand shoulder pads.
I didn't realize shoulder pads are back.
No, don't be.
Style.
That's not Candace Owens. This is not Candace Owens. They tried to turn her into a Tyra and an Oprah. And they changed, and she may have been okay with it, but I don't agree with it. This is not who she is, and I just disagree that's.
She didn't look happy.
No, she was mad. She was angry all the time and going after me, and I would be too, looking like the freaking Stepford wife. I mean, the way they dressed her.
Oh, that was
what the fuck? What the fuck is that? So Candace Owens was always, she would wear a jacket or she would wear a t-shirt and jeans. She was always down to earth. And it's not me saying that she didn't lose her identity, but they wanted her to look and talk a certain way to be on that channel.
They wanted a certain optic from her. Yeah.
That's it. And in my opinion, fuck them. She doesn't need to be doing that stuff. So that's what I'm saying. I just think Uncle Tom did a little bit. Is they kind of turned her into that, and her show was not the same. She was covering fucking Taylor Swift and celebrity news, and people are like, "What's going on? This isn't her." Let's get that woman who is cutthroat, who went after the truth, and now she gets to, I'll bet you this. She's not going to wear any of that shit on her new show. Whatever show, she'll probably go to Twitter.
Now,
she'll probably pick
what if she does?
She won't. Because she didn't do it before.
What if she does?
Well, she won't. Why would she? She's never dressed that way before, and she left Daily Wire and the set and
I guarantee the Daily Wire bought that wardrobe. That's not her
and
wardrobe.
the set. Of course they did. Of course they did.
Set, yeah.
So what if she does dress that way? Well, then I'll say I'm wrong, like I've done once in the past. I don't find well, on this. Please point out what I've said wrong in this show.
I'm kidding.
You can kid all day long. I'm not. I'm asking you. Can you do? Okay, so no, I'll do it twice.
I'll be on. Okay, me, in all honesty, I cannot.
You don't know anything
recall, about her. No. What I'm saying is, let me finish. I cannot recall a single time where Matt has been wrong on the show.
One time
on the show.
I already told you it was one time, and it was the Ukraine, Skull Island, and I'm the only one that retracted the story.
The ship, yeah. Snake Island.
I did Snake, whatever, same thing. Skull, whatever, dude. I can only get my eerie, scary names of islands correct. There's only 27,000 active islands
like
on the
pirate. Arr.
That's where Kong lives, right?
So someone's like,
that's right.
Someone said, "Hey, the Hodge twins are your boys, Matt." It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When my boys say something wrong, I'm going to say, "Dude, this guy."
There are boys, and we can have a discussion about it, right?
This is gay as fuck. This beta behind behavior, his wife fucks other dudes. I got to be careful. Oh, I can't show you the dead babies he puts on.
Who is that?
That was a dead baby. This is Jake Shields. He's the one who believes that Israel, that it's all a cover up and Hamas is good. Breitbart was founded while in Israel. They met with Benjamin Netanyahu. PragerU is run by Israeli intelligence officers. ISIS returned. Shocking that ISIS returns as Israel is losing the world's support, and he posts the Moscow-Russia attack. This dude, his entire page is full of just it's Jew hate, and he's a dipshit. Once again, if you want to fight with me, listen, I've been in plenty of fights, and Jake Shields is gonna work me over in 10 milliseconds. But if you're a fighter who wants to enter this fray and you think that you're going to stand pat, bring it on. I think people need to realize that there are times where you can have an opinion. There's other times you should just shut up. But that's my opinion. Right. All right, everybody. And here's the other thing. I've been following Candace Owens, and since as long as I've been following Shapiro when he was 14 on the debate circuit. So I've got a lot of understanding of Candace Owens and who she is and what she's not. And she very well may have supported all those clothes. But to me, that's not how she dressed. She never did that. And she was so effective when she was at 2016 RNC and she spoke for Trump and she was in a t-shirt and blue jeans. I was just like, dude, this chick is going to freaking go and blow doors. And, I think it's the best thing to be out of the Daily Wire. I'm learning more and more quickly. TPUSA sent me an invitation to be an ambassador. So I filled it out and I did everything. And then they said, can you link all your social media accounts? I'm like, sure. And they're like, oh my God, Facebook, almost 200,000. That's incredible. And I'm looking at your traction here and your traction there. It's like, well, you need 10,000 Instagram followers. I'm like, I need 10,000 Instagram followers. I'm a political channel. Why do I need a photograph site? What do you want me to do? You want me to take pictures of me before I do the show and try to get likes, or have me go and get some sushi and take some photographs? Why do you need 10,000? Well, our main platform is Instagram. I'm like, what? How in the fuck is TPUSA's main platform? Forget it. I'm not going to work with you folks because I'm not going to drive a channel so I can be an unpaid ambassador for you guys. Basically, what you want me to do is throw a TPUSA logo on my channel and you guys milk that. That's not going to happen. So I don't. Yeah.
To your point, right? The people that align themselves, and good on them for doing it, right? Because you'll always have the Steven Crowders and the Ben Shapiros and the PragerUs. You'll always have that. And there are certain people that certainly align with those platforms. But at the end of the day, if all they're after is your social media so they can score the likes, so it can kind of expand the web, so to speak, but they want you to change during the process, or they want you to portray a certain image, like what they did to Candace Owens, then it's not worth it. That's you not being you. If you want to be you on social media, then the highest thing, the best thing that you can do is just stay independent. That is you.
Well, right? You can. Yeah, you got to be, you got to have the funds coming in because that, you got to keep it floating. Speaking of keeping it floating, want to say thank you to everybody who had a chance to stop by. Looks like the documents of freedom were picked up by Vicky. Thank you, Vicky. Appreciate that. Also received a donation that I mentioned. Dawn gave us $15. Dawn, thank you. You're the best. And we also saw the donation that was given by, Deb. Thank you. Wanted to make sure I had the name right. Folks, you can do me a favor. You can donate at, what does that say? Does that say Gatorade?
Yeah, I've been drinking Gatorade this whole time.
Water. So I always love it at the end of the show after you've had 4 or 5 whiskeys, how unruly and savage you get. You just start beating your chest and swinging from the ceilings. It's just keep you in line. Right. I got to put you. I like your shirt, by the way. It is Red Friday. I seem to have forgotten. I wasn't changing. Yeah. Any clothes that I've been wearing for the last 3 days, I'm gonna
honestly. I mean, if you've been that sick, it's amazing we did the show at all. So I'm just grateful that that we all kind of get this time together. So
I know it's so nice to see you. LinkTapGo/The DUM Show. LinkTapGo.com/The DUM Show. You guys can go there and donate if you would not mind. It helps keep the show going. You can tip the show. We love that you're here. We loved seeing all the people on here. Thanks for your support. 7 o'clock. We'll be back on Monday for all the way Monday through Friday. 7 p.m. We'll have an evening show live, and then we'll have a recorded show and some news. I'm getting back on that. I should have possibly a recorded show or some news this weekend if I'm feeling a little bit better to make up some time. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Okay, Liv says no.
No, he's relaxing this weekend.
And here's my final thoughts. Here's my final thoughts. For the people who were upset by the way that I talked to my daughter, I still love you, and you get to have an opinion. For Titus and who he is, I think you're a funny guy, and you get to have an opinion. For the Hodge twins and Jake Shields, I think you are extremely amazing human beings in the Hodge twins. Jake, I think you're a fantastic fighter. I think you got to work on your ability to be gullible and deceived by people. But otherwise, you get an opinion.
Do I get an opinion?
No, Kyle Rittenhouse, you get an opinion. You get to see things and do things and experience life. And I hope you find that without being taken advantage of. To all the people at Memphis, drop out. Your education is shit, but you still get an opinion. And it comes down to this, Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro both get an opinion. And although I stand with Israel, I can also say that Israel is doing exactly what I said they would do. And America and the world is losing their palate for constant bombardment. And Israel better end this soon or figure out something because they're only going to tolerate it for so long. Okay, Liv, you get an opinion. Go ahead.
I actually get an opinion. Yay!
What did you want to say?
I knew you were going to say no, so I thought it would be funny because I knew you'd say no.
Try it. Oh, to you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do I get an opinion?
I knew it was going to happen. That's why I said it. I was really hoping Linda was watching.
No, yeah. By the way, Liv, your hair looks like shit too. There you go.
I'm shit.
See, your hair looks lovely. You know what's funny? Even in glasses, you look. Even like grandma right now, you're wearing grandma glasses, grandma sweater, and you still look hot.
These
so
are grandma glasses.
Aw.
You're kind of grandma glasses. Don't be upset. I love you.
You're just, it's been a few days.
It's yeah, you listen, I need to go get my mop suit and go through a steam cleaning before you come near me because it's like these clothes are going to be burned. I need to call Megan to get a new Raymond's trophy. By the way, folks, Raymond's Trophy Shop, if you are in need of trophies, they are in California in Bakersfield. They are the greatest trophy shop in the world. It was my uncle's shop, and he was a homicide detective. And he passed and handed it to his kids. And Randy and Megan are amazing. Joe and Holly were there, but they've opened up a great restaurant in Idaho. So if you're ever up there in, where's it at? Coeur d'Alene?
Coeur d'Alene.
Coeur d'Alene. It's called Uncorked.
Yep, Uncorked with Friends.
Uncorked with Friends, and it's a beautiful. Just like go in there, have drinks and great appetizers. They have music. But Raymond's Trophy Shops, you can find them online. Megan is great. Tell her the Don't Unfriend Me Show sent you. If you need trophies or medals or any plaque work or anything like that, they are the ones. They produce them for all the military bases around in California, and I love them to death. And it's the first plug. Good night. Thanks for so many people showing up. We'll see you guys on Monday. God bless. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show.
Have
Leeroy, love you, buddy. Thanks.
Night, y'all.
Have a good night, guys.
Peace.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.